And I think that there's a level of bliss when you just accept it for what it is. People get very emotional about it.
Would I give it up for what I've already established? No.
Just go, make mistakes, fail.
End of the day, they're really hard to find.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Roofer2Roofer show. My name is Allie, head of partnerships here at ProLine. And joining us today on the call, we have John from Steadfast Roofing and Carney from CR3. So we'll go ahead and jump into it today. First question: what is the number one mistake that kills profit on roofing projects, and how do you prevent it? I'll let John take this one, and
What
audience,
is the
feel
number
free
one
to.
mistake that kills roofing projects?
Yes, that's right.
Not following the process. I mean, just spitballing here. Like, if people aren't thorough in their inspections, things get missed, which in turn causes delays and frustration for the crews and like the project supervisors and everything. Like, if people follow the process, do a thorough inspection, ensure that everything that needs to be there on the site that is a part of that job is actually accounted for, things go a heck of a lot smoother. Um, and I'll throw one more bonus one in if that's all right. Um, Over promising things and not communicating what is promised to these people. We all need to like stay in our lanes, and sometimes like we want the business so bad that there's just certain requests that get made from some people that you know my guys should all know to kind of like not cater to that because it's not really something that we specialize in. So we run into some issues with that as well.
Yeah, makes sense. A little bit of communication goes a long way. What about you, Carney? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I would agree with a lot of what John said, which is like not properly diagnosing a system. And then a really big one for us is setting proper expectations. Like if you're setting like unrealistic expectations for a customer, it's going to create problems, whether it happens right away or it happens in the future, happens during the install. Um, so make sure you properly diagnose the system to the best of your capability and then set proper expectations. If you can't properly diagnose it, if you don't have attic access or something like that, let it be known that, hey, there is a very real possibility, since I don't have x-ray vision, that we could uncover rot or whatever, some type of structural damage. And we may need to do XYZ and issue a change order at this rate for time and material. So set proper expectations. And John, to John's point, as a business owner, as a sales rep, whatever your role and position is, learn how to say no. Because if you're not confident in actually performing whatever it is that that person wants you to do, you're going to look like a fool. You're going to create a headache. And if you don't know how to perform it, you probably don't know how to fix it. So it could end up getting pretty bad pretty quick. So learning to say no is a very powerful skill, and not a whole lot of us possess it because we do get emotionally connected to the transaction and we want to be that yes man or that yes girl. But being able to say no and walk away from something, there's a lot of power in that.
For sure. That was a great first question. Would love to hear anything the audience might want to ask. Feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A here. But we will keep rolling. When did your business stop being about roofs and start being about people and systems? What do you guys think?
Barney,
I mean, I'm not a roofer, right? So like I do everything exteriors. So sometimes I get caught up in that web of like being stereotyped as just a roofer. But I mean, it's always about doing the exterior. I don't think it's ever not been about doing the exterior. That's how we make money. But I do believe that there's something that happens once you reach a certain level where it's not so much about like how can I improve my life as it is about how can I improve the people around me. And we're very customer centric. At the heart of everything that we do is the customer. And what we will create systems and processes that inconvenience us to make sure the customer has a better experience. So that's a constant evolution though, because consumer purchasing habits continues to change, technology continues to evolve and change. You got AI that's moving faster than anything. And how do we create a great experience? Can we augment it? Does it make it worse? Does it make it better? Um, so that's a never ending battle, in my opinion, is constantly trying to make sure that your customer experience is at the top of the list. But I think that there's a transition that takes place that once you are in a pretty good position personally, like your personal finances, then you start to transition and your thought process becomes more about the end user and your team. Most of my team is around me more than my family is. So then it starts to become less about you chasing your goals and dreams and more about the people around you chasing their goals and dreams. And it sounds kind of corny and a little hocus pocus, but I feel like as an owner, once you reach a certain point where you're okay, then it becomes a lot more about other people versus just doing it for selfish reasons.
What do you think,
What
John?
you said. Yeah. Uh,
Ditto.
it, I mean, I don't know if it's ever just been about roofs. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's what keeps the doors open and things, but I mean, even from the very beginning, like I don't remember a time where we, you know, would put getting a roof on over, delivering the experience that we want to deliver, right? So I don't really know how to even answer that because I can't really remember a time when that was flip flopped the other way.
If you're in it for money, go get a job.
Right.
Don't build a company, because there's I don't know about John, but for the first 5 years of my career, I was either the first or second lowest paid employee at my organization, and at one point, I had over 60 people. So, if you're in it for money, go get a job.
It's good advice, Carney. I like it. All right. What's a small decision that ended up having a huge impact on your company's growth or revenue?
A small decision that impacted my company's growth or revenue. I would really just say taking the time to invest in bettering the tools and like utilizing the tools that we have at our disposal to the max extent. Um, so many people sign up for things and like adding things to their tech stack that, really, I mean, they're just like, oh man, that sounds awesome. But then they don't take the time to actually like really implement it into their system. And it ends up not being the catalyst they kind of hope that it would be um, when it comes to growing their business and whatnot. Uh, so beyond just investing in learning the tools that you invested in, I, I would just say, really just investing in yourself and surrounding yourself with good people that you can actually take away from. And I mean, I've said this before, but, you know, listening to the loudest people in the room and the loudest people on social media, I mean, that's typically not the best piece of advice you could kind of like really follow, I mean, but if there are people in your market or people that you do see online doing the right thing, like by all means, like reach out to them. Like I have made so many connections just by doing that. People that I look up to, people like Randy Hurtado and things, for example, and Ethan Andes, like those guys are true mentors. They're doing things the right way. They're doing all the right things for the right reasons and things. And they have their pillars aligned the right way when it comes to running a family, running their home, running their business. And those are the people that I look up to. So
Allie, you're asking us all the good questions. That's why me and John are pausing because we got to think about our answer.
No, it's
Yeah.
good. Take your time.
You
um,
hitting us with some whammies, girl.
yeah, she is. I don't know if it's a decision or a small mindset shift for me, but I was always very fascinated with revenue, and within the last, I'd say 3 years, it became more about like, I think with revenue, it's kind of like an ego trip. Like, oh, I do 10 million, oh, I do 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, whatever it is. But how much money do you make? What's your quality of life look like? Right. How well are the people around you paid, and what's their life look like? So, um, early on in my career, I was very fascinated with revenue, and even like the amount of employees that I had. I thought it was like bragging status to say I have 50 or 60 employees. But then when you realize that you're not making nearly the amount of money that you would like, it's suddenly not as attractive as it sounds. So, the one big shift for me, which I guess is a small decision, was the decision to focus more on income than revenue, and that has been, it's been critical for us because we do the same amount of revenue with a fraction of employees, and a lot of that is technology. ProLine being one of our tools in our tech stack that allows us to run more lean, better systems, better processes, and hire and invest in human capital when it's actually necessary versus investing in it just because we're chasing either a revenue amount or I'm emotionally connected to saying that I have 30, 40, 50 employees. So that little mindset shift, I think a lot of us get caught up in it in the early days, and then once you mature a little bit, you realize that I'd rather do $1.5 million in revenue and make $1 million than do $10 million in revenue and make either $1 million or $500,000.
Totally. That's a huge, huge perspective change. Absolutely. All right, audience, not seeing much coming through the Q&A here. So any questions you have, whether it be about sales, production, advertising, marketing, anything in the roofing realm, we're happy and ready to answer. So don't feel like it has to be just the things we're talking about now. Any questions at all will do. All right. How do you avoid getting burned out while you're trying to grow your roofing business?
You don't it's gonna happen. Like, dude, we have good days, we got bad days. It's business. Like, I don't know about John, but typically I have more bad days than good days, and my wife can attest to it. So, like, I don't think you do. I think that you recognize that it's a part of the process, that everybody has to go through it, and the people who win are the ones that's dig their heels in and stay the longest. When you're competing against a pool of business owners that have been doing it for less than 5 years, you graduate to over 5 years, you're in a smaller pool of people. You've learned more lessons, you've done more projects, you've probably hired and made more mistakes than the person that's only been doing it for 2 or 3 years. So, um, my opinion is it's just a part of the process. You're going to have days that suck. You're going to have good days, but you're probably going to have more days that suck. So, get used to it. Get used to eating shit, and it's just a part of the process. And if you don't like that, then you're probably shouldn't be a business owner because it's an inevitable thing. And the thing that I find bliss in the most is all of the really hard shit that I've gone through. I recognize that people that are further than me have had to go through the same or similar. And then people who are behind me, who are chasing me, nipping at my heels, I feel very bad for them because I know the amount of pain that I had to endure to get to where I'm at. Um, so there's a level of bliss there. I'm sure me and John could share horror stories and go punch for punch on crazy stuff that's happened over the years. Like, it's not unique. What you're going through is not unique to you. Your challenges are not unique. Anybody who's been in your position has had to go through those same challenges before. And I think that there's a level of bliss when you just accept it for what it is, knowing that if you want to excel and get to a certain point and you want to do more revenue, more volume, more in net income every single year, that's going to be new. The From when you go from 5 to 7 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 30 to 50 to 100 million, every single dollar in excess of what you did yesterday is a new challenge. So accept it for what it is. Understand that burnout's a part of it, but stay in the fight. And the people who stay in the fight longer end up doing the better, doing the best, in my opinion.
Yeah. Bingo. Love it. What are you thinking, John?
So I know that right now I am a lot happier being stable than I was just doing job after job after job, right? Um, so the moment that my mind shifted away from growth mode to focusing more on processes and things, um, and just really controlling that is what has really helped me with avoiding burnout, because there was a point we were doing 9 to 11 or 12 jobs a day. And now we're doing like between 3 and 5, depending on like how big they are and things, right? And I am just like so much happier because, you know, everything runs smoothly, everything is under control, and it's the chaos that really just kind of like gave me bad days, right? And I also started really spending time in the parts of my business that I actually enjoy. Um, it if it's just a task for you, I mean, you need to find a way to delegate it and get it off your plate, because, you know, if you don't enjoy doing it, it's gonna feel like a job and you're gonna get burned out from that, right? But if you truly have a passion or you find enjoyment in one aspect of your business, focus on that and just be the best damn version of like the person in that role that you can possibly be, and just continue to hone that and make it better. And been huge.
Yeah. Perfect your craft. Heard that.
Here's how roofers make it home for dinner every single night without losing a single sale, even when they're one-man shows. Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs. Your weekends will smell more like sunscreen and backyard barbecues than that crappy gas station coffee. And all you gotta do is ask these roofers.
Where we had about 200% growth, and I attribute that to incorporating ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
It's been absolutely insane how quickly we were able to grow. Now, ProLine's not gonna win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday. Now, back to the show.
All right, finally getting some questions here through the Q&A. Daniel wants to know, what should gross profit be on retail?
John?
So gross profit, I mean, we always shoot for 30%. That's where we like to be at the end of the day. Obviously, I don't get to keep 30% or anything like that, but
How do you
30%.
how do you define gross profit, John? I want to make sure we're talking about apples to apples. Is this before contribution, like commissions, or after?
No, this is, I consider it before.
Okay. So then you paid your sales guys out of that 30?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm talking about the same thing.
Yep.
All right.
And I'm sure other people do it differently, man. But end of the day, like, I just need to make sure that we have the money built into the job to continue our marketing efforts. That we have the money into the job to be able to pay our suppliers, pay our crews, and, end of the day, like, what we take home, I mean, it should be very controlled. But 30% is what we shoot for in my market. Not every market's the same, though.
Yeah, that was the big caveat that I was going to say. So I'm very fortunate to be um, servicing customers and running projects in about, I think right now it's 18 or 19 different states. So we have a pretty good taste of the industry as a whole. And there's areas like Florida, for instance, that, like, to John's point, you're looking at 35%. And that's not what we strive for. Most of our locations, we're striving for 45%. So it's very market dependent. What you need to look at is kind of what that market yields. And then you also need to figure out where you want to be at in the market. Do you want to be a volume player? Do you want to be a custom player? Do you want to be a really profitable player? Do you want to sell at $1,500 a square? Or you want to sell volume at $550 a square, right? So um, it's very market dependent, and it depends on how you want to position yourself in that marketplace. We've always looked at 45% because um, it's expensive to run a company and to run an organization, and the bigger you get, the more overhead that you accumulate, and then your margins start to diminish. So what I have found in my career is it's very hard for me to get sales guys to sell at a different number, usually a higher per square number, when they're accustomed to selling at a different number. They put this imaginary cap on themselves where they say, I was selling at $475 a square. They want us to bump up to 550. It's impossible. The market doesn't yield it, right? So I think you got to be mindful of that as you're continuing to grow your business. Like, I don't want to get caught up in a position where I continue with the same model and then it becomes non-profitable, and you have to make adjustments. I mean, one of the big things that we preach is clean books and records. If you don't know where you are, you have no idea. Some people think that they're running 30% margins, 40% margins. By the time you look at it all, it's they're not. And then they don't understand why they're not profitable. Well, if I need to be at 45%, but I'm selling at 30%, there's a 15% swing. And if I'm making 12% net income, well, I'm losing 3 points. So it's very market specific. It depends on where you want to be at, but just be mindful of it. And the best thing to do is to have very clean books and records that are up to date so you can make real time decisions. And there's a price to pay, in my opinion, to get introduced to a marketplace, to acquire customers, to build referral and repeat business so that you can start to incrementally increase your profitability. So in the early days, you might sell at 25 or 30% when you're not paying a commission, it's just you. And then as you start to bolt on new pieces and you start to get more presence within the marketplace, you can start to demand higher numbers. The numbers that I sell at today are far in excess of what I used to sell at when I was just by myself. Because if I could sell a roof and make 2 grand in a day, like, that was great. But um, you have to be profitable, and the best way to know that is to have clean books and records, and then make decisions based on that and where you see yourself at in that specific marketplace. So it's not, in my opinion, it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, no, sounds like it. Okay. What do you think about giving away equity to your best managers? And if you do, how do you decide how much?
That's a great question.
Good.
Um, I don't think it's about managers, as much as it is about like key people. I guess oftentimes they are probably in a managerial type role, but I love equity. I'm in franchising. We have franchises, and that's the whole name of the game is owner operator, and we're able to scale because what I found through trying to scale with a corporate model is I want very ignorant of me to think that I want my employees to act like owners when they're not owners. So if I can create an owner, I have somebody that is more than likely going to act like an owner. So I love equity splits. I think people get very emotional about it, where they're afraid to give up equity because they either want to own 100% or they want this huge equity stake. It doesn't matter unless you sell the business or you're taking major distributions. So, like, equity, it keeps people, it retains people, it gets them excited, it gets them to want to take ownership and feel like they're a part of it. And people will take less pay for a small equity stake. So I love it. It is a marriage though. When you start having partners, I have quite a few. Um, it's not going to always be sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be times where you feel like you're pulling more weight than the other, and they're probably going to feel that way as well. So you got to just make sure it's the right person, make sure you understand each other, and make sure that you understand if you're looking for a partner and you're going tit for tat, it's a losing proposition. You're both going to hate each other at the end of the day. So understand that it's about results and it's not so much this emotional thing, because if you can't eliminate the emotion and the I do this or this person does that, so I'm worth more or they're worth less, you're going to have a very hard time finding and keeping a partner. And once again, I relate it to a marriage. Like, there's people that I know that have been married and had happy, successful marriages, like my parents, and they'll say there's no way I could have done it with my spouse. It was the best thing I ever did. And then we all know those people that have been divorced and they say, I'll never get married again. Don't do it. You're an idiot. It's the same thing with partners. It's got to be the right partners. You have to understand each other. And oftentimes I would say you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I fit to have partners and people that have equity in my company? And am I going to be able to make decisions and remain, for the most part, unemotional as long as results are driven?
Mm.
So, in a long winded way, I love it. It just has to be the right people.
Totally. I think that makes perfect sense. What are you thinking, John?
So I think equity would give the right person some real skin in the game and things, treat it like their own. And I think it's a great idea, but only whenever it comes to, I would really only consider that if I was planning on expanding, like outside of the area that I'm in. Finding the right GM for a new branch. Yeah, let's give them some skin in the game and like let's have them really be, the level of person that we want them to be and perform the way we want them to perform. And like, absolutely, I think equity in that new branch is 100% a great idea. Would I give it up for what I've already established? No. But for expansion efforts, I could definitely see how that could be impactful to the right person. But as Carney said, I mean, it needs to be the right person. Um, and end of the day, they're really hard to find.
Hmm. I've seen two really big growth jumps in my career, and both of those I would contribute to a partnership. And when looking for a partner, don't look. A lot of us look for people like us, which is idiotic. We always say, if we're in a room together and both of us have the same skill set, one of us is useless. So if you are looking for a partner, if you are entertaining it, um, make sure it's somebody that has a different skill set than you. Because if they have the same exact skill, if you're a strong salesperson, you bring another strong salesperson in. I don't need two of me. One of me is enough. So find somebody that has a different skill set. That will help to keep you guys from competing with each other, because you'll understand that, like a husband and wife duo, like you have your roles and responsibilities. I got my roles and responsibilities. It's super, super similar. Um, so a lot of us make the mistake of finding a partner that's just like us because we get along. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. Find somebody that has a different skill set, because at some point one or both of you is going to think the other person's useless if you guys have the same skill set.
Yeah, makes sense. Little yin and yang. How much equity would you guys give away?
It depends. I'd rather have 1% of a $15 billion company than 100% of a $1 million company.
Do you have a ballpark, John, that you typically feel comfortable sticking around?
I mean, I think a good starting point would be 5% and, give them the opportunity to kind of like earn more of a buy-in towards that.
Yeah, makes sense. Keep the questions coming, Daniel. We're loving them. Okay, what's the ideal EBITDA?
Ideal EBITDA
Mm.
in dollars, or, I mean, because that's usually how it's calculated.
Let's see, Daniel. Did you?
Or
you-
I would think it's net income.
Okay.
I would really equate that to a percentage. So I think a good target to be is like 15%. I think what you should be shooting for is closer to 20%. Um, like I try to stay out of all that stuff just because like I have zero plans to actually sell my business or anything. But for the heck of it, I have been like working with my bookkeeper and my accountant and things and trying to figure out where we are as a company and whatnot. But really, I mean, I think a lot of roofing companies are far lower, like as far as their profitability than what they really think they really are. But you should strive to be at least at 15% with a goal of like 20%, depending on how big you are.
Okay. And it was percentage, Carney. Do you have a different percent, or you're co-signing that?
I would agree with John in the fact that most people are full of shit when they say how their books look. Like, show us your books and then let's talk. So I mean, for us to see a profitable company or profitable location, if you're doing 10 to 15% in net income, you're doing well. So anything double digit or higher is a great spot to be. You're in that 12 to 15% range. You want to exit at some point in time. You're doing enough volume with that net income. You're very attractive, depending on the multiple that you're looking for. And most multiples in our industry right now are between 3 and 5, depending on the size of the business. So, and if you know how to do an EBITDA calculation, go ahead. But I normally am looking at net income, and I'd say, yeah, somewhere between 10 to 15 is a good, strong, healthy company. If you can get up to words to 20, you'd probably be bought tomorrow.
Sweet. Love that. All right. Keep the questions coming through the Q&A. Otherwise, we'll just keep rolling. What is your approach to keeping your team motivated when morale dips or maybe when weather hits?
You got to stay in front of them like all the time. Let them know like we're all vulnerable, you know? Um, and if you're seeing it, you know, they're seeing it. Um, I mean, we've all been through slow seasons. We've all been through like, seasons where, we have so much going on that like we can't even keep our heads screwed on straight, you know? Um, but just really trying to drive them to consistency and, just talking through the issues and whatnot and staying in front of them and having those weekly meetings or however often you have a meeting. It should be at least once a week though, in my opinion. Um, I think, transparency goes a long way, not only with customers that we serve, but also the people that rely on us for an income, you know?
When do you think that?
As having sales guys, a large majority of exterior contractors pay their people commission only. And that can get pretty stressful depending on the climate that you're in. My location's based out of the Northeast, so we our winters are a little mild, but like we still get snow. It still gets cold. We get nor'easters all the time from the Great Lakes. I'm positioned in South Central PA, so like weather is not perfect in December like it is for John. So we actually see snow for Christmas, by the way, John. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Dude, I used to live in Hanover, man.
Right.
We're not getting it in Tampa, I can
You
confirm.
you can come visit us in January. Tell me how much you like it.
I think
Um,
we would hate it. That's why we're in Florida.
but we set that expectation with our guys, like when we're first onboarding them, like, hey, we live in the Northeast, so make sure that your pipeline is full. Make sure that you're doing what you can, like, control what you can control. There's no sense in complaining about the things that none of us can control. So weather is a factor. We all know that it's going to be an issue no matter what. So make sure your pipeline is super, super full in the fall. Get as many builds done as you can before weather turns on us. And then let's focus on collecting that money so that you guys can get paid your final milestone draw. Um, and just for me, it's always been about setting proper expectations with these guys and pushing them to take ownership and control what they can control. We can't control the weather. We can't control who the president is. We can't control interest rates. So like make the most out of what you can and control what you can, and the hell with the rest of it, because it's going to be what it's going to be no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. What
There's
boundaries?
going to be a lot of work down in Jamaica here soon.
You want to go?
No.
Yeah, she's ripping through, that's for sure. All right, next question. What boundaries do you see set to protect your personal life during business? So boundaries that kind of help you keep your work-life balance alive and well.
I don't really know if I really subscribe to that idea much. Um, as much as
Allie's
as
not
much
gonna
as I
like all
try
my
to.
answers today.
But go ahead, Carney.
I was just gonna say, like, suck it up. Like it is what it is. Work life balance is a myth. How can I be a great friend, a great husband, a great business owner, and everybody get equal, and like I got my own hobbies, right? I like to hunt and fish. How can I be great at all of those things with balance? It's impossible. Um, and I would say that my wife would probably slap me over the face if she said that she was equal to one of my hobbies or my business, right? So like everything, the big thing for me is like when I'm present and I'm working or I'm doing things personally, like be there, be present, give those people, your family, your hobbies, give them all of your attention and time. Because when you have all this stuff going on, you're building a business, you're growing an exterior company, there's no such thing as balance. If you think that you're going to balance your business and you're going to compete against people who are putting everything that they have into it, you're going to get your ass kicked. You're going to get ran over because you're trying to only work for 8 hours a day, and the rest of us are working for 16 hours a day. Um, you're not going to be able to compete. So it's I mean I think with your family, you have to set healthy boundaries so that they understand like what you need to do. And then when you come home, you got to have some boundaries of like I'll give you a weird example. So like every night at 8 o'clock, I have my iPhone set to go into sleep mode. So that's like my like shut off time. I figure with people on the West Coast, I'm 3 hours behind. You guys are starting to check out all of my stuff over here on the East Coast and all the other time zones in between. By 8 o'clock, unless it's an emergency, I can get to it in the morning. Um, but I mean, when I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm answering texts and emails and then till 8 o'clock. So they work gets way more out of me than my family does by far and away. So work-life balance is a weird thing that people like to talk about, but I don't think it's achievable, especially if you want to be a great family member, a great spouse, great at your hobbies, and also run a great business at the same time. There's gonna be non-balance at some point in time.
So, I
Manage your
mean,
expectations is what I'm hearing.
As somebody that lives off of their calendar, day in, day out, I mean, I do try to be intentional with the time that I do have to actually spend it in a meaningful way. My wife and I still have date nights and stuff. We go to the gym every day at 5 a.m. together. We get our time in, you know. We were just carving pumpkins yesterday with the kids, I mean, like, I always make time for that, but, they also know that, when dad's phone rings, quit acting like fools and let him talk. But I mean, you can balance, what you want to do if you're intentional about the things that you actually want to do. Like I want to like bust my butt and work hard for the next 8 years because I want to be retired by the time I'm 50. And whether or not I make it is all based on, how much effort I put into, achieving that goal right now. So I'm trying to run kind of as lean as I possibly can, whenever it comes to running the business and things, um, as smooth as I possibly can, and like keep dumping money into like the marketing efforts that actually kick things back out to me. And end of the day, if everything goes as things have been going, I'll be able to achieve my goal. And at that point, then it'll just be life balance. Very little work. That's what I'm shooting for.
It's a beautiful, beautiful destination to aim for. I love it. Cool, cool. All right. When you retire, what do you want your team and customers to say about you?
I want my team to say I was the hardest working person they ever met. And that I cared, right? Like, um, define retirement, by the way. Like, are we all gonna like sail away into the sunset and drink margaritas? Or are we still gonna work? Because I don't know that I could sit in a room and be still for more than about 13 seconds without getting bored. Um, So I mean, I want to be remembered. I want people to know that I cared. I want them to know that I did the right thing even when nobody was looking. And as long as they can say good, positive things about me, then I feel like I won. If they're saying negative things, and the only reason he got to where he got was by screwing people over, then I don't want to be there. I'll work till I die if I have to.
100%. Yeah. I'd I'd say much of the same. I mean, like, I want people to kind of look at their time with me as like, you know, I'd like them to look at like certain difficult situations and ask themselves like, hey, what would John do? Um, but like I never want to not be a resource to people that, you know, have been good to me, that I've been good to. Like the connections that I make now, like I want to kind of keep for as long as I possibly can. And just like Carney said, be good to people now, and that's how I want to be remembered, as like the guy that did the right thing.
In a weird way, it's kind of like I don't have children, but in a weird way, to me, it's kind of like raising children, where like you can leave, even though they don't recognize it, and most of the time we don't. You can leave such a lasting impression on people that their habits, their daily habits, have been altered and changed by the way that you acted and behaved around those people. An example of that is, like, I've always coached my guys that if you see a trash can at the end of a driveway and it's empty, take it up to where it goes. Like if we're doing an inspection, if we're doing a build day or whatever it is, you see that trash can, it's empty, take it back to where it goes. Now I got that from my father. So I know that a handful of my guys actually practice that in real life, and whether they're here or not, whatever they end up doing with the rest of their career or the rest of their life, I can almost guarantee that if they go to a stranger's house, a family member's house, whatever it is, they see that empty trash can, they're gonna grab it and take it to their house. So I'm trying to leave an impact on people and them not even recognize it, because it's just like a parent leaving an impression on a child.
Yeah, leaving them better than you found them. I love that. Okay. Best piece of advice that you've ever received, both about the roofing industry or about business as a whole? I'd like both.
Ooh, you go ahead, Carney.
She hit us with these hard ones, dude. I gotta think more than 3 seconds.
That's all right.
Um,
15 minutes.
Really, I mean, the best advice I ever got was just, knowing when to say no, and it just goes back to what I was saying earlier, staying in your lane and like not making promises that you're not going to be able to live up to, right? That goes such a long way. Um, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one a little bit more. I was just trying to kill a little bit of time for Carney to respond here. He gave me the wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Love it.
I would say anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing. So like whatever it kind of goes back to the whole work life conversation that we had. Like when if you're gonna be a parent, be the best parent ever. If you're gonna hunt, you're gonna fish, be the best damn fisherman that ever existed. If you're gonna be a leader and a business owner, try to be the best business owner that you possibly can. So um yeah, it's just this unwavering commitment to try and be the best at whatever I'm doing. I want to be the best husband. I want to be the best friend. I want to be the best leader. I want to kill the biggest deer. Like, regardless of what it is, I've always been that way. Even as a child, when it came to sports and stuff like that, like I would put in as much work as it took to be one of the best, if not the best, on the field. It's just something that I've always desired. Is I have this burning desire to continue to learn and grow, um, and I want to be the best at whatever I'm doing and whatever role that I'm in at that point in time.
Yeah, totally.
But it's an unachievable feat. Like there's no such thing as being the best. So you're constantly competing against yourself for that matter. So just accept it for what it is, get better, learn, grow, continue to develop, get 1% better every single day, and you'll be a much better human, business owner, um, just just overall person if you continue to live with that mentality of like I just want to learn, grow, and be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I
What
sent
about
my
one?
I sent my wife all kinds of like crazy quotes that I like and stuff. And I was gonna refer back to one of those, but I'm finding a bunch of naughty talk with her, so I'm just gonna
Yeah, that's not the best for this particular
yeah,
show. Or maybe
save that for the
real
uncensored.
podcast.
That's two roofers, one cup, John.
Yeah.
My gosh.
And there is a difference. And there is a difference. Okay, sweet. Not seeing any new questions coming through the Q&A here, but we do have about 15 minutes remaining. So if any of our participants have any questions about anything roofing related, feel free to pop them over now. All right. I know we kind of touched on this one briefly, but we'll go back into it. Who in the industry inspires you right now and why?
I'm not a good person to answer that because I don't pay attention to our industry at all.
That's an answer though. Why? Why don't you?
I'm not interested in it. Like I'm so consumed with what I do on the daily that like I'm not interested in the roofing and exterior news. Like the only thing that I follow is what pops up on LinkedIn and basically it's who acquired who last night. Um so I don't pay attention to different people and personalities. Like we have relationships within the industry, so like we pay attention to those guys and we root for them to win. But like we don't look up to anybody, we don't follow anybody. I very much stay in my own lane. For the most part, I believe that my team stays in their lane. We try not to get distracted with other things other than what we have to do to execute and perform the way that we want to perform. I'm a terrible person to ask that question too, because I don't pay any attention to it.
You're good, Carney. That's an answer. I'll take it.
So, I mean, I think I already mentioned the people that I kind of look up to in the industry and whatnot. Like Randy Hurtado, um, that guy just, you know, he's just an awesome dude and a powerhouse in this industry. Ethan Andes, like he's absolutely crushing it out there. Guy in my backyard, like Robin Shearer with Trust Roofing, like he's he's a powerhouse out here. But I mean, there's a lot of really, really good people to really kind of look to for advice. And like the funny thing about all those guys is like they're not telling people about it. They're not telling people about how awesome they are on social media or anything like that. Like people get wind of it, and like that. Those are the people that I look to. I mean, Ethan's built an absolutely incredible business up there. Randy, I mean, like all those DT companies are just like blowing up. Um, I don't like his choice in CRM as much as ours, but
That's fixable.
well, listen, we'll work on them. But no, uh, no, man, there's just like so many people have such great ideas, and like we don't have to go into this industry and try to reinvent the wheel, you know? We can take bits and pieces from everybody and kind of make it our own and like serve it up in a way that, really shows them what we're about, right? It doesn't need to be the same exact way as everybody else does it, but, take those ideas and make your own spin-off from it. I mean, there's so many good ideas that get passed around in our industry that, you know, um, we can all just kind of feed off of. But those are the three people that I think are really doing things right out here.
Okay. Cool, cool. All right. What's one mistake that ended up shaping your career for the better?
I've made a lot of mistakes. Mm, I don't even know. All of them.
I mean, I think I don't think my story would really be unique to anybody even paying attention to this right now. But I had worked for a number of different contractors, um, and you know, not all of them were mistakes, but I would say that a good number of them were, and like going back to, a previous question, about when did it go from roofs to people and stuff. And like, I think what kind of made mistakes with them is they shifted from the people mattering more than the roofs did. And like, that's just not, it is a way to run the business. But I'll never subscribe to that being the right way to do it. So
Makes sense to me. Anything to add, Carney?
No, I've made a lot of mistakes. I'd say daily I make a mistake. So, um, they're all learning lessons. So, like if you sit and you dwell on these mistakes, like you're not going to progress and you're not going to get anywhere. And like if you continue, it's like that saying: if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you always got. And like if I don't try to do new things, I'll never know what does and does not work. So, like I'm completely okay with losing and failing and making mistakes because then at least we're learning what we don't want to do. And with my role and my position now, I'm teaching and we're consulting people to do things the right way and save them time, money, effort, energy, heartache, so that they don't have to learn from the mistakes that I've made that have cost me millions of dollars and countless sleepless nights and stuff like that. So, mistakes are just a part of it. Like, use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Um, I think every mistake that all of us have made on this call brought us to exactly where we are today. So, I
thought of a quote:
Let's
Uh,
hear
can't make millions without a few else.
there you go.
Love it. That's
Yeah,
poetic.
it's just a part of the game, and it shapes all of us, um, good and bad. And if you don't learn from it, you're an idiot. And if you do, you'll be successful.
Yeah, I love that. We probably have time for one more question, maybe two if somebody wants to submit something through the Q&A.
Serve up an easy one.
Or are these too difficult?
We've been getting hit with these hard ones all day.
Okay, good to know.
ChatGPT really teed her up, huh, John?
What'd you say?
I said ChatGPT really teed you up on this one, huh, Allie?
That's right, locked and loaded. I thought the other questions were too boring, but maybe I need to sprinkle in some softballs occasionally.
Give us a layup once in a while.
Okay. I can
That's
see what I can do there. Let me see if I can find a layup for you. Um, maybe.
There's Scott when you need him.
Yeah, exactly. He'd have a great one for us. No, I'm torn. I kind of want to ask, what advice you would give your younger self. I'm also a bit curious to know what you're doing to make sure that your company is here long after you leave. So if one of those speaks to you more than the other, you can pick it. Um, but yeah.
Oh man.
My advice to my younger self would be just go do shit. Like start. Don't wait. Don't wait for there's never a perfect time to do things. Like just go and run full steam. Because like if you sit there and you try to overanalyze and try and figure out the perfect plan, it's never going to manifest and turn into anything. Just go, make mistakes, fail. What's the worst thing that happens? You got to go get a job. Like, cool. That's what 98% of America does. So like, just go do shit, have fun, be creative, and see what you can make out of it. And if you're fortunate enough to last more than 5 years in this industry, you probably stamped your ticket to long-term success because there's not a whole lot of players that last more than 5 years.
It is raining in Tampa, Allie.
I'm in North Carolina,
Ah,
but it's raining here too.
forgot your altitude. Is it? Okay. Well,
It's not raining in Pennsylvania if you guys want to visit.
All right, here we come.
It'll be snowing in about 30 days though.
I'm
Yeah.
still parked out in front of that house that we're going to be doing a flip on here. So,
I'm excited for you guys. That's gonna be so cool.
I'm not looking forward to it at all. But I mean, I guess it kind of leads into like my answer to that question. I mean, I would talk to my younger self. I mean, I wouldn't do anything differently, but I would just say like, take the risk, you know. Um all too often like I try to be so calculated about things, and like I've come to learn that like I'm either too dumb to fail at stuff, or I'm like I just won't let myself fail at it, right? And if you put enough effort into anything that you put your mind to or put your heart to or anything, like you're not gonna like fall off, you know? Things will work out. They might not work out exactly as you kind of foresaw, but the the lessons that you learn from like some of the mistakes and things like are not worth are they are worth like not overthinking things so much, you know? So I would just tell the younger, um, fuller head of hair version of me, take the risk. So
Well, I think that's beautiful. Nothing meant for you ever misses you. So I love that that's kind of your message underlying it all.
I have a message to my current self as well as my younger self.
Uh-oh, let's hear it.
I enjoy it. Like, it's not that serious. I mean, it's super, super, super rare that I just kind of take a deep breath and I'm like really, really grateful for like I'm super blessed. My life is awesome. I'm super blessed to be where I am. And I don't recognize that enough. And if I could change one thing about me, it would be the fact that like I actually enjoy the process a little bit more and like celebrate the wins a little bit longer versus just throw myself right back into the fire. I've done a very poor job of that in my career of like recognizing the wins and celebrating and all of that because I'm in such a hurry to get somewhere. Um, that the wins are very, very short and we move on to the next thing. So that's a message to my current self and my younger self as well, which is to take a deep breath. It's not that serious and enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, be present, be in the moment. I love that. Well, if there's no more questions coming through the audience, I'm okay with ending this one a couple minutes early. But thank you guys so much for joining the call today. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to next Monday. I'll have some easier questions for you peppered in with the hard ones. But yeah, thank you guys so
thank goodness this one was brutal.
good. Perfect.
Flatten over here.
Thank goodness Carney bought me some time, man. I'll tell you what.
Well, be prepared because next week's gonna be just the same. So we're locked and loaded and ready to go.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Great rest of your week. See you soon. Bye.